everyone. Again, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to come and join us. We are here to hear from Liz Shumate with the Norman Regional Health Systems Senior Counseling Center at the Moore location. She's going to give us some insight into mental health, which is definitely something very important right now as we are all closed in. Give us signs and things to look for. Again, there is a PowerPoint, so please be patient with me. And Liz, if you'll just remind me when you want it to be clicked, assuming I get it to work, that would be deeply appreciated.
Sure.
So we are going to give Liz the floor.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I appreciate this opportunity to come and have a discussion just about mental well-being and how we're taking care of ourselves and taking care of our loved ones and maybe our employees during this pandemic and unprecedented time. So what we're going to talk about today is really just some basic information, but there will be time for Q&A at the end if anyone has more specific, maybe clinical questions. So we can go ahead and get started, Kim.
Okay.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, we can go ahead and start with the second slide.
Okay.
I'm having some trouble hearing Liz.
Okay, let me look at some audio options. Is that any better?
Might need to lean in a little more.
I should be able to. Okay, is that any better?
It somewhat, I think it's just where you're at makes it a little difficult. I'm not sure.
I'm not able to find my audio settings like I was the other day. Okay, just a second. I found where I need to be. Is this any better?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Okay, Kim, we just need to be at that basic needs slide, slide 2.
There it is.
Perfect. I'm so sorry about the volume issue. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. So you'll see here, there's a diagram of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So if you've ever had any kind of basic psychology course or just some, self-help kind of reading, you may be familiar with this diagram. And it's really just a theory about human motivation. And so if you look at the very bottom, you really can't build on the diagram unless your needs are met as things go up. So right now, everyone has experienced some disruption with basic needs. So our physiological needs, just basic breathing, food, water, air, sex, sleep, so on and so on. And so we know, that people that we know personally, we're seeing in the media constantly, people whose basic needs aren't being met, their health is impacted, and we really just have to anticipate overall functioning being impaired when these sorts of things are occurring, when we know people whose needs aren't being met. But think about pre-COVID-19. Maybe where were you at, or those around you, where were you at in Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Maybe you were experiencing just some disruption, maybe you had some things going on, and maybe you weren't where you needed to be, or maybe at your baseline. So I think it's really important to consider where we were before things started to get where they are now, because that's going to have an impact on how we move forward. So if you look at the very top, self-actualization, this is really kind of the gold standard of personal growth and discovery. So when people are at this level, they're able to kind of tolerate stress well. They are aware of their self and others, and they can really also tolerate uncertainty, which is really the time that we're living in. So knowing that most people aren't functioning at this top level at this point in time because things are so rocky and so uncertain, you need to expect not to be able to do all that you've done previously. Even if you have health care, your very basic needs are met, you have to give yourself some room, you know, to not be probably your normal self. I know for me, there's been like lots of little things that I've been missing that I would never do. And I'm going, what's the problem? Well, there's a huge problem, so really just being aware that you're probably not going to be what you're used to being at. And then thinking about that from that perspective for others around you. Maybe it's friends, family, employee, they may not physically be around you, but people that you're interacting with, we just have to be mindful that people aren't where they're usually at. Specifically with social distancing, interpersonal relationships really motivate behavior. So if you have a lack of relationships, or maybe you're, at home with with friends or family or whoever you're with, and things aren't going well, those relationships are also going to impact your functioning. Okay, we can move to the next slide. So I've got a scale here because really it's all about balance. We know with our current situation, things are changing rapidly, sometimes, multiple times a day, multiple times in the hour. So really just kind of being aware of what depression and anxiety are, and kind of just some tips for keeping things in check. So, anxiety really is about being irritable or restless. There's lots of worry and fear, kind of driving decisions, driving thoughts and behaviors. This can also show up in your sleep patterns. If you're unable to sleep, you may know someone or yourself who question, man, all I've been doing is laying around, but then I can't sleep, or I've been very busy and I still can't sleep. This may be some level of anxiety. Depression, may look like some mood swings, excessive sadness, agitation, feelings of hopelessness, and even at an extreme level, someone feeling as though they don't want to be here anymore, some suicidal ideation may occur. So just having some basic knowledge of what those symptoms look like. Now, I think everyone on the earth right now is experiencing some level of worry and fear, but are those symptoms, are those feelings way off balance? So there's things that are healthy and to be expected, and then if things really start to impair your daily functioning, then that's when you would really consider, am I truly experiencing some significant depression or anxiety? So ways to really kind of keep things in check is stay informed. Again, we're experiencing change daily, multiple times a day, but really try to avoid binge watching the news, because you can become fixated. Your thoughts can really start to go to a negative place. So you want to stay informed, you want to make good decisions, but you also don't want to become obsessed or consumed with things in the news. For one reason, it's going to change. So you've put a lot of energy into something that may not be the same the next day. Also, being self-aware is really important. Since we're not around as many people as we usually are, I'm usually more self-aware when I'm around a crowd, right? How am I being perceived? How are people seeing me? Well, if no one's seeing me, maybe my self-awareness has decreased. So really, paying attention to how much you're eating, how much you're drinking, are you, staying hydrated? Are you consuming too much alcohol? Those things matter. And so if we're really paying attention kind of just on a daily basis, it'll be easier to manage if we feel ourselves getting off balance. Also, do something intentional every day that brings you joy. Unfortunately, I can't be on the beach, which is where I'd like to be right now, but that's just not an option, right? So thinking about things that bring you some ounce of joy, you feel like you're in control, whether it's mindfulness or gratitude or you know, planning a meal that you like or making a phone call to someone that you really enjoy. Do something every day that brings you some level of joy. Get regular exercise, you know, get your body moving, even if it's stretching, walking. If you have loved ones who are, you know, maybe have some physical limitations, it doesn't have to be, you know, a full body workout. It's just something to get moving, to start feeling better. We want to do that every day if it's possible for each person. And then monitor your overall health and well-being. In addition to, you know, your eating and drinking habits, your sleeping habits, also, you know, just monitoring where you're at mentally. If your provider has, you know, you regularly monitor something like your blood pressure, your blood sugar, you know, something health related, please don't neglect those habits. Those are very important. We don't want to, you know, have a lapse and then find ourselves in a bad place. You know, several times I'm like, what day is it? I thought it was one day, it's really not, it's another day. So it's really easy to be, you know, to let things kind of slip through the cracks, and then you find yourself in a place that you don't want to be at. That's not healthy. And then, you know, if you aren't well, reach out for support. I think a lot of people on this call, several people depend on you, whether it's, you know, at home or in the workplace. We're leaders in the community. And so, we may not always reach out for help, and help doesn't have to be a full meltdown. I need you, you know, I need you right now. It may just be checking in with someone, but just making sure that you take care of yourself. If you need help, please ask. Times are different right now. The way that you, you know, see people, see your providers, there may be a lag time. It may not be as accessible as it has been in the past. So please don't wait until you find yourself really unbalanced, and things are become a risk. Okay, Kim, next slide. So again, maintaining those connections, you know, regular calls and video chats are great. We are, you know, we're in the age of texting, and texting is great, but there's just something to be said for actual, you know, face-to-face time with someone and hearing someone's voice. So make sure that you're making connections and having those regular interactions. Also, reach out to someone you haven't talked to in a while. If someone's crossed your mind, reach out to them. This is a great time to, you know, remind someone that you care about them or that you're interested in them. That can really be very helpful, not only for you, but for that other person. And then focus on connections and avoid discussing the crisis, right? It's going to be part of what we talk about all day, every day. But if there's an opportunity to find some humor or to talk about the future in a positive way, have those conversations, because again, we can get really fixated on COVID-19, what's the economy? We really want to try to have some other outlets. And then also utilize online resources to foster interest in hobbies. It's a great time to, you know, try an online workout or, you know, research a hobby or learn something new, kind of get your brain going in a different direction. So all of this is really pretty simple stuff, but it does make a difference. So when you, you know, make an effort to take care of yourself, also give yourself some credit for that. Again, small things make a huge impact. Okay, next slide. And then provider resources. If you find yourself in a place where you feel like you need more than what you can do on your own, or, you know, kind of reaching out to people in your circle isn't really cutting it, you know, please explore some virtual care options, whether it's with a physician or a behavioral health provider. If you have people in your, you know, in the workplace that you're responsible for, maybe your employees, your clients, your customers, you know, be familiar with resources that are available so that you can make them available and pass those on to those that you know. A couple of additional resources that aren't on the slide are the Virtue Center in Norman. They're taking calls from, I believe, 8 or 8:30 to 6:30 in the evening. So if someone you know or yourself needs to just call and have you know, a friendly chat and get some reassurance, you can call the Virtue Center at 321-0022. And then also headspace.com, they provide virtual just really how to support the mental well-being of your employees and kind of what to anticipate or expect as we move forward, hopefully post-COVID in the near future. And I believe we have one more slide. So kind of thinking about how we support our colleagues and our employees, first and foremost, we have to be patient with one another, and don't take things personally. Usually it's not about us anyways, but right now with the overwhelming amount of stress that people are experiencing, when someone's short with you or someone's not acting themselves, we want to make sure that we're not taking it personal, but we also continue to check on that person and don't let any sort of conflict disrupt the connection. Continue to check on that person, continue to make yourself available, because who knows what's going on with them in addition to the pandemic. And then practice transparency. People are isolated, right? People don't have access and information maybe like they usually do. So people start telling themselves a narrative that may not be true at all. And so if there is an opportunity to share information or, make yourself available for people to ask you questions in the workplace, please do. And then it's also a great time to practice some self-disclosure with employees or colleagues, with an appropriate range, but, hey, I've struggled too, or I'm sorry, I dropped the ball, things, I'm out of my routine, I'm out of my normal setting. And so, I think when we just let people know that it's okay not to be okay, they're more receptive to what we, have to offer and kind of how we're moving in this new direction. And then just be careful how you manage the message to employees. We're hearing, the media, I just turn it off because it's just really overwhelming and sometimes comical, but, maybe not as many details, be fact-driven. People really aren't even consuming everything that's being out there, especially, they can't keep things straight. So even if you communicate a very clear and concise message, there's a chance that people aren't even going to perceive it the way in which it was presented. And then continue to check in often with people, even those who, are high functioning individuals who do well. Just because someone usually is a high performer doesn't mean that they don't need support. So please check on those folks as well. And then, try to have a positive attitude just about embracing change and how we handle the unknown and moving forward in this new time that we are experiencing. So those are my slides. Does anyone have any questions just related to mental health in general or supporting those around you from a distance?
Those are a lot of good things to think about. And I believe that, we all know everything that you say, but sometimes to be reminded of something like that makes a huge difference. I mean, people, you can say we all know to connect to people, or we all know not to listen to all the news, but sometimes when we hear it like this, it sure puts a precedence on these are things that you really need to do because you're trying to deal with a completely different life than you've ever had, a lot of people. And so this is a lot of good information.
Liz, can you give us those phone numbers again so that I can put those into the chat?
Sure. The Virtue Center is 321-0022.
That's the Virtue Center.
That's the Virtue Center in Norman. You can call them. And then they're just taking phone calls. That's the service they're providing at this time. And then headspace.com.
Sorry, I just sent that only to Aiden.
Good job.
Well, I'm telling you, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thanks. She trying to tell you something, Aiden?
No.
Apparently.
No. It was earlier when she couldn't hear Liz. And I'm sorry, the other one was?
Headspace.com.
Head?
Head.
Oh, Headspace.
Got a lot of head space right now.
I could probably utilize that one myself. it's hard for anyone to publicly come out and say anything about any struggles that they may have. More so than anything, this is really intended to kind of speak to that part of your mind that's not willing to say it out loud, and or utilize it for those that you love that are either your coworkers, your friends, or your family that are struggling with just about anything right now. Unfortunately, because we do only have basically the four walls of our homes to, or, you know, the few of us that are essential workers that get to go to work and not be at home with their families. There's so many different struggles. And then you add on snow in April and freezing temperatures, and unfortunately the 25th anniversary this weekend, and the multitude of things that are being postponed, from graduations and weddings and just so many rites of passages. So at the Moore Chamber, I think you, if you don't know, we are pretty, we love our people. We love the people that we work with, and it's important to us that everybody is safe and sound and stronger after this is all over. I think the community itself is beyond the word resilient. And I love you too, Maggie. Social butterflies. That's probably the biggest issue that we all have, is that we are social butterflies and we don't get to spend time with each other. Yeah. So Liz, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to come and speak with us. Even the seniors, that is Liz's main forte, would be seniors. And seniors, I'm the primary caregiver of my mother, who is battling dementia. And so fully understanding what all is going on is not easy for her. And the fact that she cannot go to the store because she does fall within that restriction, those are just, you know, those are struggles. And then I have two teenagers who don't understand that they don't get to go to their friends' houses every single day because school's out. It's not, but anyway. So this was probably more for me than it was for anybody else, and this is being recorded, and I'm sorry. But thank you very, very much. Anybody have anything to say? And if you don't, I will share Liz's email address, if that is okay with Liz, and you can connect with her directly if you want to have it more in a private setting. Liz is fantastic. She is one of our graduates of Leadership More, and she has taken an active role in our community, and we love her for that.
Richie Split just told me that you rock.
Well, I'm going to do a little self-disclosure right now. So the Senior Counseling Center has been closed since March the 17th. So we've been checking on our patients and making sure that they have what they need. But in the interim, we've reopened Senior Counseling Center as a child care facility for our employees. So it's been a change, a great change. The kids are wonderful, but again, you know, seeing how our employees are impacted and they're stressed and sometimes not getting to work, and, you know, getting the kids taken care of has been a great opportunity, but, you know, it's been a shift. So glad to be a part of it, but very difficult times for folks.
Yeah, and we definitely.
It is difficult. And the number one thing that I want people to remember is, because of what today is and our memory of today, and because we have somebody that we love so much, we need to keep Terry in our thoughts, because this is what she needs today. Having been there and experienced so much of what went on today, I've been thinking about you all day. I've been thinking about you for several days. And but most importantly, everybody needs to be thinking about Terry today.
Thank you, guys. I do need it. Thanks.
Oh,
No.
swear to God, you guys are just going to have to deal with the Germex, because I'm going to hug every one of you, including you, Jennifer.
Yep. You know that's how it's going to be. But
So there's some extras on here. And again, guys, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to be a part of this. We do have another virtual meeting tomorrow. We will be discussing how to keep your message relevant in regards to the changing ways of marketing your business. Looking forward to that panel discussion. We do have quite a few people that were not noted in the email that we have since got confirmed. So we'll have a great group of people to expand your mind and give you new ideas on how to get the message out. And then on Friday, we will be hosting Mr. McBride again. And I'm pretty sure he's going to talk something about a little lawsuit that's going on. And then, of course, tomorrow evening, if you are a member of Young More Involved, or even interested in knowing a little bit about More Involved, they are having their first virtual business after hours, More Connect. So that is included in the email. You guys are more than welcome to join in on that. Other than that, thank you guys very much. We love you all. We miss you all, and we look forward to seeing you very soon, very soon. Thank you very much, and you guys have a blessed day.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Liz.